Ariel Helwani post-fight at UFC 128 alongside Nate Marquardt, who defeated Dan Miller tonight. And Nate, I think a lot of people, when they found out that you were fighting Dan, expected a tough, grind-out type of fight. That's what we got. No surprises, right?
Yeah, no, not really. He was actually, I knew he was a tough fighter and knew he was game, but I cracked him with a couple shots there, and he didn't shy away one bit. He's definitely a very tough guy.
Now, when obviously your lip is busted up, when did that happen?
It was right in the first round, probably like the second or third exchange we had. We both caught each other. I had my mouth open, and it split open from my bottom teeth going through into my lip.
Wow.
And I felt a chunk hanging off, and I was contemplating if I should just bite it off and spit it out or leave it in, and I decided to just leave it in because it started bleeding so bad. So
was it flapping the entire fight?
Yeah, just kind of inside my mouth. I could feel it like hanging over my teeth sometimes. Yeah.
At what point are you contemplating this? Is this between rounds or in the middle of the fight?
Just right when it happened. I felt something in my mouth, and then I was like, oh, that's my lip. And I was like, maybe I should just bite it off, and then I decided not to, and then you just forget about it.
Probably a good decision, right? In hindsight?
Yeah, probably.
How many stitches is that?
Just 5.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, but the Novocaine made my lips swell up like a nutty professor. So. Yeah.
As I can see.
Yeah.
When you drink, does it come out the side of your mouth?
I don't know, man. I can't. It feels funny.
Yeah. Well, talk about the fight. I mean, were you happy with your performance?
For sure, man. I felt great. At the beginning of every round, I felt like just like it fresh, like I did in the first round. And at no point did I feel like I needed to rest or take a break or anything, during the fight. And I felt like I gave him a lot of pressure, and that was the game plan. And so I'm happy.
And correct me if I'm wrong, after the Okami fight, you talked about your cardio, that you weren't very happy with it. I'm guessing now, did you do anything in between that? We talked about the chef, diet, anything that you can credit having this good cardio for this fight?
It's hard to say for one thing. I think a big part of it was all my coaches. They all got together, and basically they were communicating. So my jiu-jitsu coach, my boxing coach, my wrestling coach, and my strength coach, they would communicate after every practice so that each coach knew how hard each practice was. And they knew exactly when to put the hard practices and when to put the lighter practices to let us recover. And it made it so that we could train a lot harder. It's, by them spacing it out, we could train a lot harder.
So now, what would you like to do next? Would you like another shot at Akiyama? Obviously, that was the original opponent. Or you talked about Michael Bisping. That generated a lot of headlines on Thursday. You want to kind of shut his mouth, so to speak. Part of the Alchemist team, Jorge Rivera, all that stuff. What would you like to do next?
For sure. I mean, Bisping would be a great fight. I would take that any day. And there's still a lot of fights at 85 that I want. But one thing, I talked to my coaches before this fight and a couple of my teammates like George St. Pierre, we talked about me cutting down to 170 because I was walking around really light, basically at the same weight that George walks around at, and I think it's something that I'd like to try out. If it's a good fit, then go for the title there.
So you think that's next for you? 170?
It's hard to say. It's kind of. Like I said, I could go to 170 and be happy, and I think I would be able to get the title there. And I think I could do it at 185. There's a few fights that I would definitely want at 185 eventually or soon, whenever it is. I'd like to fight Bisping. I'd like to fight Silva, Chael Sonnen, and Okami, and there's still a lot of fights actually, but.
Considering you knocked at the title door a couple times at 185, maybe going down to 170, you kind of have this clean slate. Is that part of your thinking?
Yeah, it's just, honestly, it's more about how I feel, because when I'm walking around lighter, I just feel like I can go all day long, and I feel like an animal. I don't feel like I get tired. Even when I get tired, I just keep going, and I don't feel like I need to rest. So.
Your friend George St. Pierre is the champion at 170.
Yeah.
Are you saying this will happen only if he moves up to 185 to fight Silva, vacates the title, or will you still go down even if he stays at 170?
We talked about it, and either way, I want to drop down.
You'd fight him.
I like to. I'm not saying I'd fight him. I'm just saying that I want to drop to 170 and excuse me, go for the title there. And if he's the title holder still, then that's something that we'll have to talk about at that point. But really, it's just something I want to try. And if I can, if the UFC wants me to stay at 185, I'm happy with that. I feel strong as anybody. I mean, I feel like I'm the strongest guy. I've never matched a guy in the UFC that felt stronger to me. And even if I'm lighter, it doesn't matter. So,
give us the prediction. The next time we see Nate Marquardt fight, will it be at welterweight or middleweight?
A prediction? I guess that depends on what Dana says. But
well, this is big news because we weren't expecting this.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I would probably say, I think they'll let me drop down to 170, but they might want me to beat up Michael Bisping first.
Very well said.
All right, yeah.
Congratulations on the big win. We look forward to what's next.
Thanks a lot, man.